Hey, what's good, everybody? It's me, your hero, Benjamin Banks, and you're watching Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks, and it is another brand new episode of Who's That Cosplayer? And joining me today is no other than the Lord himself. Like, before I started this interview, like, my jaw dropped, just like how it dropped when I interviewed Sakura. And, oh my God, Dio, Squishiebishie is joining me today. Squishy, how are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you? Thank you for having me here.
Hey, you are welcome. And, the reason why I wanted to have you here is because, I've never met nobody like you. I have friends and I've had buddies. It's true, but they don't turn my tummy the way that you do. I've never met nobody like you. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. I definitely understand that.
I'm passing you the mic.
What you want me to say, bro?
You don't know the lyrics to the song? From Turning Red?
I see.
You're never not on my mind. Oh my, oh my. I'm never not by your side. Your side, your side. I'm never gonna let you cry. Don't cry. Oh, cry. I'm never not gonna be your ride or die. All right. I don't know. I'm obsessed with Four Town for life. I am a wrestler and I'm a wrestling fan. And when we put these four fingers up, that's for the four horsemen. But I put these four fingers up, it's for Four Town, because it's Four Town for life. So yeah, Squishy, of course I had to do that intro for you and whatnot. Thank you so much for joining me. Before we get into today, you're welcome. Before we get into today's interview, everybody that's watching, make sure that you like this video, you subscribe to the channel, and you hit that bell button so that way you're always notified when we have new content here on Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks. And as D always says, podcast link down in the description. Like, follow, subscribe. So let's go ahead and get into this interview. So again, thank you for joining me, and thank you so much for cosplaying as Dio. You're the first Dio cosplay that I have had. Yes, you are, and it's crazy because I interviewed Best Demi Guys, and y'all can watch her interview. It is up here on the channel, and she had a Dio cosplay, but she had just got her Dio cosplay, and she didn't want to wear that. She wanted to wear Anasui, so I was just like, all right, cool. So to actually have Dio, and I'm so disappointed because before the interview, I had told Squishy that I was going to be wearing a cosplay too. And cosplay, like it literally just got here to the house. So I was just like, I can't put it on. But I'm going to let you know, and I'm going to let everybody that's watching know what the cosplay was. It is Jotaro Kujo from Part 6. Yes, I am excited. And this is the reason why I love that I'm interviewing you, because just looking at your cosplays, y'all can see the costumes and everything in the background. It's just like Squishy is a huge JoJo's Bizarre Adventure fan. They also like My Hero Academia. So it's just like, this is about to be a fun interview and whatnot. Your boy is rambling. That's what I do up here. But yes, I was going to wear my Part 6 Jotaro Kujo cosplay. But yeah, I'm going to put it on after the interview and whatnot. And I told everybody on social media, if I get a certain amount of likes, then I'll put it on. But if I don't get any likes, I'm not putting it on. And everybody's going to have to wait. So now moving into the interview, something that I love to ask all of my guests up here on Who's That Cosplayer is, what is your origin story? Tell everybody who you are. Every hero or villain has one.
My origin story. Okay. So I started cosplaying. I was a little late to the game. Most cosplayers, they start when they're in their teens. I didn't start until I graduated high school. No one around me really knew what cosplay was. They were just kind of like, oh, you're playing a little dress up, huh? I was like, yeah, I'm playing a little dress up. I know I'm 18, but I grew up playing with the boys. I was the only girl. So when you kind of grow up in that sort of household, it was always Dragon Ball Z, Naruto, Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon. Like, I grew up around all that. So when I found the world of cosplay, my mind just exploded like crazy. Like it was a child seeing a candy bar for the first time. So for my graduation present trip, in my family, when we graduate high school, we each get a trip. My brother chose Cancun like a normal person, and I wanted to go to Otakon.
Nice.
So my first trip was to Otakon 2015. You know, I didn't have an experience. I didn't have any, like, I've never cosplayed before. I literally put on a costume, put on a wig, and went to my first convention, and I had the best time. I didn't know that this world existed other than through YouTube. So seeing it in person was just like absolutely insane. Being able to see and experience everything. I met a lot of really good friends there. I got to see people that I looked up to. It was just a whole new ball game for me. And that was something that I have kept going through. I know, like me, a lot of people, cosplay kind of gets them like through their darkest times. Anime, these, all of that is like a world for everyone to escape from reality. So even in my darkest moments, I was like, you know what, I'm going to make this costume and I'm going to plan this convention that's going to cost me buku's amount of money, but you know, it'll make me happy. So, you know, life's short. It's good to do things that make you happy. So ever since little me in 2015, I've been going to cons, I've been cosplaying, you know, it's been a wild ride. And did I think this is what I was going to be doing at the age of 25? No. I didn't think I'd get this far, but you know, having all of this, like looking around in my own room, like looking at my cases of figures, like I didn't think I'd be doing this at 25.
No, I totally understand that. And it's crazy because like, you know, cons, they've been a thing here in Virginia for a while now. Like I remember when I was in high school, I used to hear about NecoCon all the time, but it's like, I always tell this story about how it's like my mom, she wasn't going to take me all the way across the water to drop me off at a con. And then she would have to come back and pick me up. And a lot of my friends, when I was in high school, they didn't have cars. So it's like, there was no way that we could get over there. You know, you kids, y'all have it good now. Y'all got y'all Ubers and all that stuff. You could call an Uber, like take me across the water. But it's just like, yo, hey, my mom won't take me nowhere. So, and I love that, you know, a lot of the cosplayers that I interview, they say that they had supportive parents that would, you know, go to the cons with them and whatnot. And I know that you said that, you know, your graduation gift was going to Otakon. Now, when you went there, did you go by yourself or did your family come with you?
So the only person out of my family who's ever actually come to any of my conventions with me has been my mom.
Nice.
She's been supportive of me through the entire thing. I do have family members that are just like, oh, that's really cool, but I don't understand it. I don't understand why you dress up like you're an adult. Totally understandable. Everyone's got their own schmick, their own thing. You know, cosplay is mine. That's just what I like to do. It's something that makes me happy. But going to cons, I kind of came from a family where I was not really allowed out of my parents' sight due to the fear of like kidnappings or things like that. So it wasn't until I was like, you know, 20, 21, I started going to conventions on my own without parents or without close friends that my parents knew. So I've kind of had my mom there with me through the entire thing. She's helped me start cosplay. She doesn't put any money towards it now that I'm a grown adult and have my own place. But she was the one who bought a lot of my very first costumes, even when I was in like middle school and high school, and I was like, Mom, I really want to dress up as Naruto for Halloween. She'd buy me a Naruto cosplay. They would, you know, her and my grandma would help me make something if I really wanted to do something. And for the longest time, before I learned how to fully sew and make my own costumes, they were the ones who were helping me out with my cosplay. So I was lucky enough to have that support system. I know not everyone has it. I know not everyone's able to have, you know, friends or family who are there to support you along the way. But I was really lucky in that sense. So.
Yeah, and I 100% agree with you on that. Now, did your mom or grandma, well, I know you said your mom came to the cons with you, but did she ever wear any costumes herself when she came to the cons, or was she just there in support?
I'm still begging her to put on a costume and go with me, but she absolutely refuses. I think it'd be the best.
Of course.
When I see the parents who cosplay with their kids, no matter what age, cosplay is for everyone.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter how old or how young you are. As long as you're doing it respectfully, that's all that matters, and as long as you're having fun. But she just kind of goes with me, and she's kind of the bag holder whenever I get pictures taken, or she's kind of there to be like, okay, you don't need like $100 plushie, like, like so. Unfortunately, no cosplays for her yet, but I am still begging and pleading her to put on a costume with me, no matter what it might be.
And you know what's crazy, man? It's like the bag holders really, they go a long way when it comes to being at a con. Because, when me and my co-host from the Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks podcast, Rebellious D, whenever we go to cons, we interview people on the floor. We take pictures of people in their costumes and whatnot. And he brings his son Isaiah with him. And Isaiah is our bag holder. And I mean, like Isaiah gets into fun too. Like, he wears his costume and he takes pictures too. But like, he's a part of our team that really helps us out, because like carrying cameras and camera stands and all that stuff, like it can be a little bit too much, especially too when people want to take pictures with you and everything. Like, one of the things that I kind of hate doing, like when I wore my Deku cosplay, I had to keep taking my glove off to take pictures of people. And then when someone be like, hey, can I get a picture with you? I'd be like, yeah, hold on. Put my glove back on.
Tries to put everything back on. I totally understand that. Oh my goodness.
Oh my God. It's such a hassle, man, but it's so fun just being at the cons and, just taking photos with people, having your photos taken, meeting new friends and whatnot. So I want to ask you, what have been some of your favorite con experiences?
What have been some of my favorite con experiences? Well, I'm kind of the person where I love going to conventions to meet people. I love going to conventions with friends. I'm not really a single con goer. I like to go with my group, or, with a bunch of friends, or even if it's just my mom. But I'd have to say, this past weekend at GalaxyCon was really fun with the two of my friends. Even though I did have a couple like malfunctions with some of my costumes, it was still fantastic. Just being able to be with your friends and be goofy and not have to worry about what other people are, like judging you for. Like, I've cosplayed out in public. I have been that cosplayer, full on cosplay, pumping gas at the gas station and getting all the looks. Like, what is going on here? Like, who walked out of comic book? Like, why are you here? So it happens many times. For some reason, my brain doesn't go, hey, maybe you should put gas in your car before you have to go pump gas with a bunch of strangers dressed, as a vampire. Like, so before you have to go and get those awkward stares, maybe go get gas, maybe go get your groceries. Like, it's been a lot of awkward times of just staring at the old ladies, and they're just like staring you down like you're Satan just because you're dressed differently. So being able to just be goofy with my friends. I definitely love the nighttime vibes, like with KatsuCon and NekoCon, like with the raves. Otacon's game room's always fun with friends. Just being able to be stupid. Honestly. So
go dumb. Go stupid, go dumb. Now, I agree with you on that. And, when I went to NekoCon last year and I was cosplaying as Deku, that Friday I also had to go to a wedding rehearsal, and I had told my friend, I was just like, hey man, I'm going to NekoCon. I want to bring some spare clothes to change into, but I mean, and he's just like, no, just come to the wedding rehearsal in your costume. And I was just like, for real? I was just like, hell yeah. So everybody else dressed up in normal clothes and whatnot, and then you got me coming to the wedding rehearsal. I'm dressed like Deku and whatnot, and his fiance at the time, now wife, he was just like, hey, like, she loves My Hero Academia. Like just go walk in the room. And so I go
Oh
walk in
my
the room
gosh.
and I'm just like, hey, how you doing? I'm Deku. I'm training to become the #1 hero. How are you doing? I heard that you're getting married soon and I just wanted to stop by. I came all the way from Japan just to say hi and congratulations on getting married. And like she was weak. And when we practiced and walked down the aisle and stuff, like I'm just dressed as Deku. It was hilarious. So when you were talking about like you're at the gas station and you're getting those looks and stuff like that, sometimes it's just like you never know who may see you and just be like, oh my God, like I can't believe like you're cosplayed as Dio. Like it's like, hey, I'm having a good time. As long as you're having a good time, I mean, you just never know what's going to happen. Like you never know who's the anime fan.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever been to Virginia Beach, but Mount Trashmore, I was taking photos as Jotaro in my Part 4 JoJo cosplay, right? And some dude was just like, oh snap, it's Jotaro. And I was just like, yeah, man. I was just like, hey, don't worry about Dio because I already took him out. You're good to go. But Dio's right here before me. So now, I'm sitting here talking about the costumes that I've worn. I want to know, what are some of your favorite costumes that you've worn? Like when I was doing my research and, putting this slideshow together, like you have a ton of amazing costumes, like your Gran Torino, your Kakyoin. Oh my God, the list goes on. So tell me, what are some of your favorites?
I have every costume that I've done kind of holds like a special place in my heart. When it comes to selling costumes, it's really hard for me because even whether I buy it, make it, thrift it doesn't matter. Like whether I put in the work or not, like every single costume I've ever done, even if it's just like a closet costume, means a whole lot to me. So I love every one of my costumes, but some of my personal favorites, Kakyoin is definitely one of my personal favorites. I first wore him to Katsu 2022 is when I debuted him. And nice. I actually carried around a bunch of tiny babies in my pocket and handed them out as little Valentine's gifts. So of course the JoJo shoot went crazy when I pull all these tiny babies out of my pocket. I just recently debuted Red Riot at GalaxyCon, and nice. I pretty much after NecoCon of last year, I was just like, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna make Red Riot. I've never made intense armor before, but here we go. So I've spent months and months and months of just like slowly building up this armor work and everything like that. So he holds a special place in my heart because he's my first major armor work build. Now that I'm starting to dabble in like armor and wings and like I've done wigs and makeup for quite a while, but I've never done any super serious exterior piece besides wood latex. Orihime is one of my favorites. She's one of my comfort characters. She's always been a comfort character for me, literally since I turned on the TV in like 2004 and saw Chad on the TV screen. I was literally at a friend's house. We were having a sleepover. I couldn't sleep. I turned on her TV and there's Chad. And I was like, this is it. This is my anime.
Who's that cosplayer?
Sakura Nagamasa.
I'd have to say Akira is a big comfort character for me. He's one that I absolutely love to do. I just did the 80s Devil Man this past weekend at GalaxyCon. Nice. He's one of my favorites. I didn't think that he was going to be one of my favorites, but he has slowly crept up on me. And this Devil Man shrine that I'm currently sitting in front of kind of shows that I definitely have a problem. So, let's see. Yukari Sakuragi from Another, the little bloody umbrella girl. Yeah. She's one of my personal favorites. Every time some sort of reaction, whether people have actually seen Another or whether they've seen the gif of her, spoilers, falling down the stairs.
I have not seen it, and that I want to go see it.
It's a very good thriller horror. It's called Another. I like to say it's like Final Destination, but the anime. It's about a cursed classroom. People start dying, if you're into blood and gore and that, it's definitely a good watch. It came out the same year as Angel Beats, and unfortunately Angel Beats beat it in terms of popularity, but it's definitely something I recommend. I remember one of the times, I think it was at Animazement a couple years ago, I walked by a booth and the guy was like, "Oh my God, you're that girl from that anime gift." And I just kind of looked at him and I was like, "It's an anime, you should watch it." So I've gotten all kinds of things. I know when I wore her to AWA in like 2019, I actually went full prosthetic and everything on my throat, and people were like, they went berserk over it, and I was like, I didn't know this anime had so much love, because there's not really a fandom for it. There's not really any charms or keychains. The few figures that exist I already have, so it's one of those things where people just kind of appreciate the artwork and the gore for it, so it's really nice.
I recently just finished watching an anime called Monster, and I don't know if you've ever heard of that one, but I had never heard of it, and I had interviewed somebody at NecoCon and they told me about it, and I found out that Monster is pretty much, it's one of those animes where it's just like, if you know about it, you know about it. If you don't know about it, then you don't know about it. But when I did my research on it, I was just like, wow, so this anime was really popular back in the day, but it got beat out by other animes. And plus it came on Sci-Fi, and a lot of people weren't really watching Sci-Fi for their anime. So, you know, it's like, if you didn't watch Sci-Fi, then you didn't know about it. But I totally agree with you when it comes to like these animes out there that really, they have their fandom, but when it comes to merch and stuff like that, like there really isn't a lot of merch out there. When we had interviewed Linda Young, because she voices Genkai on Yu Yu Hakusho, and even she was saying like, yeah, there's not really that much Genkai merchandise out there. Like there's a lot of Frieza merchandise out there, but there's not a lot of Genkai. So, you know, since we're talking about anime now, what are some of your favorite animes that you like to enjoy watching?
Oh man. Every time anyone asks me this, I feel like it's always different. Of course, I gotta give it to Bleach. I feel like half the time when anyone talks about Bleach, I'm literally in the back like, hi, I'm here. Talk about Bleach with you. I have an Ida bag. I have like the glass cases from IKEA. Half of it is just filled with like old Bleach merchandise, the little like figurines that you would play like the Bleach game with. I mean, half my closet is filled with Bleach cosplays, so Bleach definitely holds a near and dear place in my heart. But lately, it's been the Devilman franchise, as we can tell by the silly little shrine. JoJo.
Of course.
Gotta give it to JoJo. I mean, can't get any better than that. My Hero. I mean, I know it's simple. I know everyone knows it, but everyone knows it for a reason. It's good.
Hey, it's the truth. I got Deku right there behind me. You know what I'm saying?
And then Jujutsu Kaisen has definitely working on a couple cosplays from that and a couple props from that as well. I almost came in Geto tonight, but I was like, no, I don't really have much of a costume for him. Let me go ahead and pull out Dio.
Oh my God. Yeah, I mean, I'm still hyped that you're, cosplaying as Dio right now. Now, I don't like to assume things, but is Dio your favorite villain from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure?
Oh yeah, Dio for me is like top tier villain. Most people, they just kind of like him because he's hot. I know he's a bit in the a-hole. I remember when I was showing my friends Dio, like just a couple months, like just JoJo in general from a couple months ago. They were like, "Oh, that's like the guy that you like, right?" And I was like, "Well, I like a lot of them. Big buff Bara men are kind of my thing, but Dio's definitely my favorite villain." And then they liked him from the looks of him, and then they started watching. Slowly, I could tell that they were just looking at me like,
"Why do you like him?"
You simp for this man? This man who killed a dog?
The kill, yeah, Danny.
Like, why? And I was like, listen, I like them messed up. What can I say?
Oh God. He has daddy issues.
He does have daddy issues. Most people have daddy issues. You know,
Yeah,
he's
that's
got
true.
daddy and mommy issues.
And mommy
got
issues.
all the
And
issues.
stepdaddy issues. Like this man. Oh my God. Yeah.
He's got all of the.
No, yeah, I love Dio. I love part 1 Dio more than part 3 Dio. I don't know. I mean, like I like part 3 Dio, but because I recently started watching JoJo, I want to say back in 2020, I believe it was 2020. And it's like I was obsessed with it. Like once I watched part 1, I was just like, yo, like why did I put this off for so long? And when I got to part 3, I was just like, well, why is Dio just in the shadows the whole time? I mean, like, I understand he's recovering and all this stuff, but it's just like we saw Dio on part 1. Like, why are they making him seem like he's this mysterious figure and he has to hide his appearance? But Dio on part 1, like this dude killed Danny. He kissed Arena. Like, I'm just like, yo, I hate this guy. Like, Dio is definitely in my top 10 when it comes to anime villains. So for me, even though I love Dio, my favorite JoJo villain is Kira. It's just something about him, the whole, you know, the murder mystery and whatnot. And I almost got away with it if it weren't for those meddling kids. I love Kira, you know. And now I want to ask you, which JoJo is your favorite part? Which part is your favorite? God, I butchered it. I tried to combine two things because usually I ask like which JoJo is your favorite and which part is your favorite, but which part is your favorite and which JoJo is your favorite? There we go.
I love all of JoJo, but I feel like my favorite part is kind of a tie between part 3 and part 4.
Of course.
I love the flamingness of part 4.
Yeah.
I love Josuke. Love him to bits and pieces. He's a wonderful little man. Jotaro's where it's at, though. I gotta say, I know I'm Dio, but Jotaro, that's
the
a
white
man
outfit.
right
You know what I'm saying? Like he was more
he
mature.
can rock anything. Him in his 40s wearing snake skin. I mean, he knows he looks good in anything. So
I agree. Like, and he was a better Joseph Joestar than Joseph Joestar was in part 3. You know, because it's like Joseph Joestar, I mean, he was good, but he was still an idiot. But Joseph he's always been like that. Whereas Jotaro, like he's calm, he's sophisticated. When everybody else is screaming and they don't know what to do, Jotaro is just like, shut the hell up. You know what I'm saying? So
he's the
love
most
him.
calm-minded. Thinking about dolphins. It's great.
Oh my God. I keep telling myself that I need to get an inflatable dolphin so that way I can walk around with it. I mean, I know like the true JoJo fans will appreciate the inflatable dolphin. I think the normies would just be like, why is this guy walking around with an inflatable dolphin? I don't know. But yeah, I love part 4 Jotaro. And also that is one Jotaro. That's the reason why I got the costume, is because I always see people cosplaying as part 3 Jotaro. You never really see a lot of people cosplaying as part 4 Jotaro. And the purple and white, like it's just fire. You know,
it's a fit. It's a fit. I feel like that's one of his best outfits.
Of course.
When I first saw part 6 Jotaro, I was a little like,
yeah,
what are you wearing?
Yeah.
But it grew on me. I
course.
love the purple jacket. It's an absolute like, he knows. He knows fashion.
I love it, man. So now I want to ask you, when you're not cosplaying, like what are some of the hobbies that you're into?
Sleep.
Hey, sleep is a good hobby though, because a lot of us don't get it.
Sleep is a good hobby. Most people, when they ask me what my hobbies are, it's literally cosplay. Cosplay is kind of like my entire life. The amount of people that I've brought back to, especially now that I have my own apartment, with roommates, of course, I had to tell them like, hey, by the way, I will be recording tonight. Please be quiet when you come in. Whenever they see my room, whether it's friends, family, strangers, they're always like, wow, you weren't lying. And then they see my closet. I picked this apartment strictly based on the closet space because of all of my cosplays. I actually just took my sewing machine off like my desk Monday because I was like, okay, I'm not gonna be sewing anymore for quite a while. Let me finally get this thing off here so I can set up my laptop again, set up my gaming system. I like to play games, but I also work a full-time job. So when, especially in Con Crunch, like for Katsu and GalaxyCon, the second I got home, boom, I was working on cosplay. The second I would have a day off, I'd be like, oh no, I can't hang out. I gotta finish this wig, finish this prop, get this sewn. Like, this is the stuff that I have to do in order to make my deadline for my conventions or my costumes. If I want to have a certain costume by a certain time, whether it be for a convention or just personal reasons. That's what I do when I come home. And if I'm not doing that, I'm sleeping or reading. So
I feel you. I mean, because like you're making your own stuff, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's one thing if you're buying it, and I'm one of those people where it's like, you know, you can buy your costumes or you can make it. Like, it's like, because at the end of the day, like, cosplay is all about having fun and whatnot, but it definitely takes a lot of skill to make everything yourself, you know what I'm saying? And I, you know, give you a pinky for that, because like, that's cool that you do that stuff, especially when you were talking about earlier when you had did your Red Riot outfit and how it was your first time messing with armor and whatnot. I think that's really cool, you know? So again, pinky's up for that.
thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. What was the next question I was going to ask you? Because it wasn't a question, but it was just to piggyback off of what you were saying about, you know, sleeping or working on your stuff. Like, us up here on Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks, like, I'm always editing videos for the podcast. I'm editing, you know, the interviews that I do for this, and then I'm always at the gym. So this is like, I rarely get any sleep. So I totally get where you're coming from when you're like, if I can get some sleep, then I'll take the sleep, but I'm busy 24/7. So I totally get that. So now that we're getting towards the end of the interview, and this episode, it is going to be coming out after April Fool's Day. So I want to ask you, this is my final question for you. What is an April Fool's prank that was pulled on you that you'll always remember?
I feel like this has happened to a lot of people, especially if you were like me, bullied throughout school. I've been asked out as a prank. I've been told that I was pretty or handsome as a prank. Just things like that. I've also had people literally tell me like, oh, I'm out of town for the weekend, can't hang out with you. And then like, turns out they're all like at a party, and then they're like, hi, April Fools, you weren't invited, by the way. So unfortunately, April Fool's pranks haven't been the best for me.
I feel so bad. Like, I was
oh no, it's okay.
I was expecting to hear something funny, and it's just like, I'm like, why did I ask?
Sad and depressing. Yeah.
Oh my god! Like, it's like, it reminds me of what is her name? La Brava from My Hero Academia, and like how, you know, she wrote that love letter to the guy, and then he took the love. I felt so bad for her because she put her heart into that. So it's like, I'm sorry that you had to go through that. And just to let you know, you are pretty and you are handsome. Yeah,
thank you.
You're welcome.
Honestly, I like to say, like, no matter what, not everyone deserves what's happened to them. Obviously, exactly. Everyone has their own trauma. Everyone has their own disabilities. If it went for what I've gone through when I was younger, I definitely wouldn't be the person that I am today. I'm always growing, whether it's as a content creator or just as a person. You're always growing. You're never perfect. Nobody is perfect, not even Dio, as proven in JoJo. So, you know, I don't look back on that with like hatred or like with any ill will or thoughts. Kids will be kids. Bullying is a thing, unfortunately. But if I didn't go through what I've been through like my entire life, I wouldn't be the person I am today. So I don't look back at it as oh man, yeah, that sucks, but like shouldn't have happened. I mean, anyone can say that about anything, but it's things like that have really helped me grow as a person and learn to really love people for who they are, not what they look like or
exactly
any of that stuff for that matter. So I look back at it as like kind of like yeah, this happened, but it's not my entire life. It's not my entire future. If you're sad or you're depressed or you're going through something, your life's not going to stay that way. I can guarantee that. Didn't think I'd make it this far, but you know, life goes on. Your life is what you make it. So you just kind of got to learn and grow and be happy for yourself.
Yeah, I love that. And I love how it went from like a negative to a positive, because I 100% agree with you. It's just like we all go through stuff in life, and you know, all you can do is just stay positive. I look at those as not life experiences, but quests and obstacles that you have to go through, so that way that you can keep on leveling up. It's experience points, you know what I'm saying? Like everybody gains experience different ways and whatnot, and it's like you go through all of those, you know, obstacles, and then you get to where you are in life now. And I feel like that's the reason why like a lot of people like us can relate to anime characters and, you know, just stuff like that, video game characters as well, because it's like we see the stuff that they go through, and like it's kind of similar to what we go through. And it's just like, well, if they can grow from that, from what they went through, then I can grow too. And you know, now it's just like, look who has the last laugh now. You know, you're awesome, you're Dio, you have these awesome costumes and whatnot, and you're having fun. You're welcome. So you know, this is it. Thank you so much, Squishy, for joining me up here on a brand new episode of Who's That Cosplayer. You are awesome.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. And before I let you go, let everybody in social media land know where they can find you.
So I'm mostly active on Squishiebishie, which is my Instagram. I do have a Twitter under the same handle. I'm like never on Twitter though, because toggling so many social medias just like hurts my tiny little pea brain. But mostly it's going to be on Instagram. You can always message me. You can always, you know, say, hey, you know, if you need advice on something, if you need a friend. Even when I'm at a convention, I like to say, if you're in like a situation where you're uncomfortable, literally come find me. I'll be your mom. I'll literally stand there and be like, don't touch this person. So, you know, I like to be everyone's kind of like con grandparent and be like, hello, you're my child now. I don't care if you're older than me. I'm taking care of you now.
I love that. And I love the whole, you know, just being protective of other people at cons, because like so many people go through stuff at cons, and you know, you'll be surprised where it's just like somebody that's there that's looking out for you, and somebody that you can go to and trust. So I really appreciate you saying that. And if you see them at a con, you know, go up to them and they'll use their stand as a wardo. And whoever is messing with you, they'll never see it coming. And with that being said, thank you everybody for watching this interview. Thank you everybody for joining us. You know where you can find me, your hero Benjamin Banks at KingBenji_Banks on Twitter and Instagram. You can find me on Facebook at Benjamin Banks. I should be the first person to pop up. If not, then I need to contact Mr. Zuckerberg. Thank you again, Squishy, for joining me up here. Like I always say, keep that pinky up, stay positive. We'll see you next time on Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks. Peace.
Peace.
Thanks again, everybody, for watching another episode of Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks. Make sure you like, follow, subscribe to the channel. Podcast, we got that too. Make sure you give us a thumbs up and hit that bell for further episodes and notifications. Thanks a lot to our patrons. And if you don't mind, join the Patreon. We'll be having new specials coming up soon.